All right, we will cover our branding notes for our project-based learning unit. So branding, as we talked about before when we covered the marketing mix, is the values, personalities, and some identifiable characteristics of a company. So maybe the name, the logo, the slogan. And these are going to be ways that you can communicate with customers. So the whole purpose of branding is to differentiate from other companies. We don't want to be lumped in as just a clothing store or just a fast food restaurant. We want to stand aside. We want to be recognizable. And so one process that we do to go through this is the process to create brand loyalty. And this can be done in 3 different levels. So we have brand recognition, and this is where customers will recognize your name. They will be able to associate maybe your logo with the company, and they know who you are. That's the lowest level of brand loyalty. The next step up at the middle level is brand preferences. So customers want to buy your brand, but if it's not easily accessible or it's not available, they're going to substitute it out for others. So a really good example of this is that maybe you want to go to McDonald's for lunch. You just really want a cheeseburger and fries. You want to go to McDonald's. That sounds good. But you pull up and you see that the line is too long. You don't have enough time to wait in it. So even though you want a McDonald's burger, you're going to go across the street to Sonic instead. You have a preference for McDonald's, but it's not the end of the world if you can't have it. And then the last step, the most intense version of brand loyalty, is brand insistence. And this is where companies really want to be if they can. And this is where customers will only use your brand. So a lot of times, this might not be seen in the fast food example that we just went through, but it can be seen a lot in clothing. For example, a lot of athletes will only wear one type or brand of shoe. So maybe they like a Nike basketball shoe. If it's not available, if maybe it's on back order, they need to order it, it's not in stock, they, instead of switching to an Adidas shoe or an Under Armour shoe, they're going to wait until that Nike shoe is back. They are not going to buy another product. In order to go through the branding process, we will start out at the step 1, which is branding objectives. So we kind of touched on this a little bit with that research process. So thinking about what the goals for this brand are. What do I want to achieve with this goal? What does the brand stand for? What should the brand stand for based on my customers? And then what benefit does the customer get from my brand or from my organization? Once you have decided that, you can start brainstorming those outward branding pieces or the customer-facing pieces. So what is my name going to be? What's something that stands out that customers will recognize after I get established? What is a logo and a brand statement, a slogan and a hashtag that my customer base will like? If I have a logo that people don't like looking at, I'm not going to be as successful. And then we think about brand accessibility worldwide and acceptability. For a local small town company who doesn't want to expand, they just want to have their one location, this isn't something that they necessarily need to think as quite as much. But thinking about those large international companies, does my brand translate well outside of the U.S.? So things like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, McDonald's, Taco Bell, those are all going to be all over the world. So do the customers in Japan or Australia feel the same way as the customers in America about my product? One example of kind of a negative of this is that there was a car company called Innova a while back, and they were pretty successful in the United States, and then they tried to expand into Mexico and other Spanish-speaking countries. And they did not do very well. And this is because they didn't think about how acceptable their brand would be outside of the United States, outside of English-speaking countries. They found out that when they translated Nova to Spanish, it was translated to no go. So why would somebody want to buy a car if they don't think that it works? So just thinking about how other people are going to interpret your brand is very important. And then we're going to do the testing customers. So we talked about ways to get market research. So surveying, interviewing, focus groups. We're going to use these to see how customers feel about our logo, about our name, about our slogan and hashtags. And then let them decide which is best, because these are the people that we're really trying to reach. And then once we have that feedback from them, we're going to select the best brand. So maybe if I gave them 3 or 4 logos to look through, then I'm going to see what they said, and then I'm going to select just the one best one for my brand. And the logos and hashtags are things that you are more familiar with. So the other 2 elements are brand statement and slogans. So a brand statement is going to be combining the mission or the overall goal and objective of the company with the values and the characteristics. A lot of times this is going to be just 1 to 2 sentences, and it's going to be something that defines the brand and tells customers what to expect. You should have gone through and done that activity or the quiz where you match slogans and brand statements to companies. So just seeing that those are the mission statements of that company, really. And then we have a slogan. So just the short phrase that sticks in the customer's mind. It needs to, stay there. They need to be able to remember it and recall it easily. And this is going to be something that creates a bond with a customer and hopefully invokes a positive mood or even an action. Maybe if I hear the "I'm loving it" slogan from McDonald's, it's going to push me to perform an action like get in my car and drive to McDonald's. And then it also helps create that brand loyalty. If I'm thinking of 2 different restaurants and I remember the slogan of one and I don't remember the slogan of the other, I'm probably going to go with the brand that I remember more details about. And then now this leads us into our first assignment, so the personal brand assignment. Thinking about what your brand is as a person, so things that identify you. So I want you to create a logo, a slogan, and a brand statement for yourself. Remember that this should encompass things that you value, your personality traits, and your identity. So in the past, a lot of people have included things like in their logo, they might put, somehow they might put in their initials. They might put in things that they value, like if they are really athletic and they are a volleyball player, basketball player, they might put elements of that in their logo, just to kind of represent things that are important to them. And then you'll come up with a brand statement. So what are your mission, your goals? And then a slogan. If you need help with this, please let me know.